Hello and welcome to GCrafter. I'm Andy. Thanks for joining. I want to give you a quick tutorial. This is your first box in 2 minutes. So when you log in, you're going to land on this screen. You see you have no projects yet because, well, you have no projects yet. So click Create Your First Project. Now you can give it a name, or we have a short list of silly names we'll drop into place. But in this case, I'm just going to say My First Box. Then you choose your machine type, if you have a CNC, a laser, or if you're using shop tools. I have a CNC. Preferred units, metric or standard. I'm totally comfortable in metric, but if you want to work in standard, here you go. Just click that. You can see everything switches to 48, 48 and a half. And then just put in whatever size material that you're going to use down here. In this case, let's just assume I'm going to use 48, and I'm going to use 12 millimeter thick Baltic birch plywood. Click Save, and you got a box. The first thing you see is you got 6 parts: top, bottom, left, right, front, back. You can click here, that'll select them, click again, it deselects. You can turn them on and off so that you can see other parts around them. You can also toggle them to enabled or not enabled. So maybe you want a box that has just no top, or you want a box that has no front. Cool, right? Next, dimensions. So if you choose metric, it's going to create you a box that's 250 by 250 by 250. If you choose standard, it'll create a 12 by 12 by 12 box. The same is true if you choose the shop tool workflow. Now, the number input, you can click here at any time to switch between metric and standard, which I find to be super handy actually. So let's say you want to make this box a different size. Let's say you want it to be 16 inches tall. Well, you just type in 16 and you can see everything adjusts accordingly. Now there's a little button here that says keep the finger count on resize. So let's get into fingers. You have 2 ways that you can go about changing fingers. One is by count and the other is by dimension. By count basically calculates more or less the perfect number or the perfect dimension of fingers. So I want 5, 5, 5. The short button here is if, let's say you want 4.5, 5.5. Let me show you what that does. So now you can see you've got little short fingers at the end. If you want to turn that on and off, you just click here. So that's how fingers work. You've got your stock size here. Again, you can switch between metric and standard. So let's say you only want to cut something on a 24-inch piece of wood. Now that doesn't affect the design. The only thing in here that affects the design is the thickness. You can choose the material type. Again, this is really just for preview purposes, so you can just get a sense of what, I don't know why you'd cut anything on checkered, seriously. Nobody's doing that. I don't even know why that's in there. And then you've got matte, satin, and gloss finishes, just so you can get a sense of what it might look like in the real world when it's finished. So let's just go back to matte for a second. You can also set different colors. I don't know if you're using different stains. Let's just keep it clear for now. And then you get your machine settings here. So you can choose between CNC, laser, router at any time. So the setting that you made in the beginning, you can change at any time down the road. For CNC guys, you've got your dog bone settings. You click this button and it turns the dog bones on. Now you can see we have dog bones in our 3D view. You can change to the different kinds of dog bones, or I guess kerf relief is what they call it. You got T-bone short edge, T-bone long edge. Again, turn that off for now. The only reason that it's not turned on full time, so to give you a sense of it, GCrafter is basically a big real-time Boolean engine. So every single change that you make, it goes back and recomputes all the parts. And so dog bones are actually kind of expensive to create and use at intersection time, so that's why it's turned off by default. So let's take a look at a part. So if you click on anything, you're going to see that you have position, you have dimensions. If you're using Pro, you can change the finger styles. If you're using Pro, you can use the corners, the edges, different cut actions, animation, part layout. That's in the free version as well. So you got another button here that generates a pack. And you can see that's not really the greatest. So what I'm going to do is go back here for a second and change my fingers. It's looking a little better. So unlike most box makers, you can change the fingers in all 3 dimensions, width, length, and height. What that allows you to do is to get exactly the look that you're looking for. However, what that also can sometimes create is computations that don't actually work. So again, you could just change around with these buttons, play with stuff until you get exactly the look you were looking for. So back to the 3D view, you got your explode button. You got some settings here. You can change the field of view of the camera. You got the snap, and you got snap to grid. So the snap setting, you can choose again between metric and standard. And you can see down here below, we've got a grid that is changing between metric and standard. So let's say we want to go to metric or standard, and I'm going to make the grid 0.25. Now, the grid, in addition to changing how it, the grid options, in addition to just changing how the grid appears, it also changes how items move. So let's turn the front on for back just a second here, and we'll see that if I change the grid setting to 1 millimeter, when I move something with this guy, it's going to move a millimeter at a time. Now, if you do something and you don't like it, just click the old undo button. And again, unlike a lot of programs, because GCrafter is a big Boolean engine, sometimes undo will just take a second. So just give it a moment and it'll get back to where it was before. So let's just take that front, and I want to make a cabinet. I don't really want to make a box. So I'm actually just going to pull this out. Now, there are a number of different ways you can move things. You can move it by just entering in the value. You can move it by moving or selecting this gizmo, and you can move in all 3 dimensions. And then there's another way that you can move things, which is called point to point, or I call it point to point, where if you press the Alt key and with a part selected, you're going to see this little blue ball. So click wherever you want to start from and move it to wherever you want to move it to. And you can see that my box is now a cabinet because this piece is not actually intersecting with any parts. It's not going to have any fingers cut into it. So there you go, 2 minutes. I got a small cabinet. Click over here. I've got my part layout. And then just go File, Export, choose your export options. Now in Pro users, you get DXF, PDFs. You can go 3D things as well, because you can actually 3D print anything that you create in GCrafter as well. So I'll just say I would like an SVG. Because my material is now spanning 2 sheets, it's going to give me the option to export in either a multiple or single file. For this purposes, I'm just going to go single. I'm going to save it on my desktop. And there you can see I've got my cut file ready to go. Take that SVG over to your CAM software, add some toolpaths, and take it to your machine. You should have a box in about an hour. That's getting started in GCrafter. Thanks for watching. I can't wait to see what you make.